Hello, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are in our beautiful world. Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's Shining the Light on Our Community. And I'm really excited. A very interesting guest today. Thank you, Julie, for joining us all the way from Townsville in North Queensland.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
joining us for our conversation. We're going to have a really good conversation about Stronger Than My Excuses, which is nice. But let me just introduce you first, everyone who is watching. So, you are a CEO of Stronger Than My Excuses. You're a media production company dedicated to helping businesses, not for profit, causes, charities, and community organisations to have a voice and to speak up. It's about changing the world one story at a time. I love that, Julie. I really, really love it. Which is why I really enjoy during these conversations, because it's all about sharing our story.
Yes.
So let's start, Julie, and let's start to get to know who Julie is. Tell us how you got how you got to where you are now. What have you experienced during your amazing life?
Oh boy. Well, in this short conversation, I will start with just how I started to grow my confidence because that's what this was all about. So I I was going through a bad period and I in my life because I was going through a breakup, financial situation was in tatters, and I just needed some motivation. And motivation's never there when you need it, right? So I started going back looking for something I'd saved on my computer, which I always saved articles from famous people. And I found this one called Overcoming Adversity. So you think you've got it bad. I went, oh, that's just what I need right now. I feel really down. I actually started reading this article and I was 3 lines in when I realized it was my own article that I had written 10 or more years before. Now, that was the bizarre thing about that was when I read it, I went, what were you thinking? Why didn't you? I wrote it because I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to be a speaker. And I never did a thing about it back then. And I thought, here you are, 10, whatever it was, 10 years later, and you still haven't done anything about that. So that's when I really started to change. I just went, this is bizarre. And I realized then I could find inspiration from within because it was my own article. And so I started thinking, how many other people out there, particularly women, but how many people are out there that are wanting things and wishing for things and then just holding back because of fear and procrastination is really just another form of fear or stress or anxiety. But so that article went on to talk about my 5 years on dialysis and 2 kidney transplants and 34 admissions to RPA and going through all that. I also had a heart attack. I had radiotherapy treatment for 5 weeks. But the article just talked about all this and how at the same time, being on a dialysis machine 3 days a week for 5 hours at a time and having my blood cleaned and all that, I was running a business which was reasonably successful. I was the soccer manager of my son's soccer team. I was on the committee of the soccer club as the social director. And then that was in winter. In summer, I was on the committee of the Surf Lifesaving Club and I was a surf lifesaver. And I'm thinking, my God, I did so much. And I could do that because I was doing it for other things. But when it comes to myself, I never really pushed that business to the next level. I never pushed myself to be a speaker. All the things I really wanted, I didn't do. So then I went, right, things are changing. Bang. And so I started changing. So yeah, that's kind of the story of how I started to change my life and become more confident.
Thank you. I mean, really, really thank you. I love your story, and it truly is an inspiration. And I love, how divine the universe is in organizing stuff. That you're looking through stuff and you pick up an article that you actually wrote.
Yeah, it
So
was.
it's like you're inspiring yourself. which is
Yes.
it's so powerful, so much more powerful. So what did you do? What steps did you take to
Aha.
become, to develop your confidence, to overcome all your adversities, to become who you are now, which is certainly a vibrant, very confident woman.
Yes, I am confident now. There's still some areas that I'm working on, and a lot of that's around personal, working with family and friends. I still don't always um, put my work as important as what it actually is to me. I do it when I'm networking and I can tell people how good my business is, how confident I am, and I'm confident about my product. But when I'm at home, I'm like, oh, I better do this for mum and dad. Instead of saying no when I probably should. Yeah. But look, I'll go back. So when I was doing that, dialysis, all those sorts of things, I was a very positive person. So
Yes.
the
Okay.
positivity got me through adversity,
Diversity.
but it
Yeah.
did not achieve my goals.
Sure.
Being nice and positive does not achieve
To
goals.
goals. No, it doesn't.
It gives you lots of friends, but it doesn't get you where you want to go. So I realized there's a massive difference between confidence and positivity. They're both great, and it's great if you can have both. And I had positivity in droves. I wanted everyone to be my friend. And in fact, I hated it when someone wasn't. And that's why I didn't push forward, because I worried too much about what people thought.
Yes.
When I started to learn about confidence, that's basically saying, hang on, I can be positive and nice to people. And that's one thing, compassionate, all that. But I still have to have the courage to say
Yes.
what I want and to
Yes.
speak up for myself.
Yes.
And that is where confidence comes in. So I
Yes.
learnt the difference. And in order to have win-win, you need a measured balance of both. And win-win is always based on compassion and courage. So so then I started, just everything I did was watching shows, listening to podcasts, listening to Audible, reading anything I could, watching The Secret. I watched The Secret 100 days in a row. I didn't watch it all through every day, but I watched it every day, past pieces of it, and I learned something new every time. So I decided, now that I'm being more confident, I need to build my profile. So I went to a couple of friends. I said, come over to my place, bring wine. I have an idea. So they came to my place with wine, Adam and Sharon. I said, I want to start a panel discussion, a series, and we're talking about overcoming fear, pushing through procrastination, repetition to achieve your dreams, and not giving up, taking action, all these different topics that were my passion that I wanted to talk about and how I'd done it, positivity versus confidence, all of that. And so we drank wine and they were going to be my co-hosts and we didn't know anything. I said, in the end, they sort of went, look, you do it. We just want to come on. We'll just come on and be your co-host. And I said, okay, I'll write all the scripts for you guys, introducing the guests, whatever. I'll get all the guests and I'll call it the Stronger Than My Excuses show. So that's what I did. And then it just went from there. So we had a series of 8 shows. We did it on a zero budget because I went out to sponsors and said, will you sponsor this show? It's all about business. It's going to be at the Nexus Business Hub. We've got the mayor coming on. We've got the regional director of business, New South Wales. We've got lawyers, bankers. We've got radio announcers. And all these people said, yeah, well, they sponsored it. And I paid my videographer and editor through that. And I got the venue for free. The videographer did a lot of it at no cost in return for promotion. So then I just halfway through, I went, I need to template this. Everyone should be doing something like this. So I've templated it now, and I sell media production kits to people so they can just go, this is what we pay for the media production kit, but we pay that off. And at the first week it says, how do you get sponsors for this? What is your topic? What's your theme? What's your passion? Week 2 is finding a venue for free. Here's your email templates to send out. Here's your email templates to send to panel. Week 3 is finding a videographer, and it's got every step. And then as they get sponsors, they're starting to cover their costs. And look, there's no reason people can't do it and cover the costs of the kit that we sell, as well as videography and editing, and get it all done on a zero budget like we did. But every step is there in this media production kit. The other thing about it is that we brand it so that they are now part of the Stronger Than My Excuses platform. It's a platform like TED is a platform for speakers and for independently run speaking events. Ours is independently run panel events or series of shows that you do in your own venues or in your own boardroom or wherever. So that's basically it in a nutshell, how we got there.
Oh, which is amazing. And again, you never know what's going to come out with from an idea, from a thought.
Exactly.
And you birth this whole amazing thing, platform where people can come together and connect and talk about important topics, important subjects.
And we've done things, we have had people produce shows on suicide prevention, anti-bullying in secondary schools, marketing for tradies, running a business for tradies, because they know how to do their trade, but not how to market, how to sell, how to customer service. So a whole series on that. We've had Law in Life, which is teaching people, talking about family law or joining a board, what are the legalities, or buying or selling a business, the legality. And the people that come on these panels are all just experts. So they're not trying to sell anything. They're just giving good educational, informational things that can go out to viewers. They're not trying to sell anything. They're just informing. So viewers can watch it without feeling like they're being sold to, which is great.
Which is great, yeah. We've
had suicide prevention. We've had 2 shows on that, I think. And domestic violence, I think I mentioned that. We've had all sorts of business shows, lots of business topics, personal development, leadership.
And these are all in person, so you can do them everywhere because you've got the kit.
They're all in venues, but we also, in the kit, it teaches people. So we have a template for sending to your panelists how to be a good panelist, not fidgeting with your hair all the time, which I'm doing a bit today, but how to work with a camera. And then we also do Zoom for people that want to do it when they're doing it with, if they've got people who might be in a different country or a different location, or when we had COVID, we had to go to Zoom. So we did them on Zoom, but what we did was we never did them live. We always do post-production. So we'd make it more like a TV show. So we'd have the host on the full screen introducing the show, and then it would go out to the panel and all of the panelists would be there. And then it would go back to whoever's speaking, it would be on them, and then back. So it was always being more engaging by keeping the flow, by going speaker, gallery view, speaker, gallery view. And then also we'd have all the logos at the bottom and the guest names, and that would be changing all the time, like you see on a TV show. At the end there was credits, at the beginning there's music, and at the end there's music and intro and outro. So it really looks like a TV show. And we keep ours to 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah. Which is wonderful. I mean, I'm excited. I definitely want to know more about Stronger Than My Excuses, and I will certainly check out all your links. And you have a summit coming up, an actual summit and an expo. Tell us about that, because I'd love to be involved. It's not very far away from me.
Look, we had a summit earlier this year. It was called the Future of Business Summit Life on Mars. And that was there to make it quirky and make people go, oh, what's that? And it was all about business. And so we had 5 panels. We had a Generation XYZ. We had an industry body panel. We had a personal development panel. We had leadership. So, and in the leadership panel, for example, we had the CEO of the Central Coast Mariners Football Club, and he was amazing. He talked about family and and how they've made that an acronym for different things. F was for fun, A was for accountability, and so on. So the information that came out of that was incredible. One of the guys that was on there was Mick Bendel, and I met on LinkedIn. And I'd never met him in person until he turned up at that event, but we communicated so much. And then I had someone that hosted all of those. I emceed I did a speech, but I had an MC for the event. So the 5 panel discussions would happen, and then in between, people would go out, have their food, look around at the expo tables. Then someone would stand up and do a soapbox talk, and they're basically paying to have a couple of minutes to get on their soapbox and talk about something they're promoting or doing within their business. And then people would listen, and then they'd give out some tickets for Mariners games because the Mariners supported. So it was really fantastic. And as everyone walked back into the room for the next panel, the music would be loud. There were videos up on the screen showing previous shows, and people talking about, or testimonials about how they'd been on a panel discussion, and it was fantastic. Everybody loved it. The sponsors, all of them said, we want to come back next year. And so far, everyone I've been in touch with have come back and gone to a higher level of sponsorship. So next year's event is called Imagine Challenging the Status Quo, a business summit and expo, and it's at Mingara Recreation Centre, which is on the central coast of New South Wales. It's a huge club, and all of the downstairs area will be taken up by us. And so we're having the showroom with the VIP area for the studio audience to watch the filming of the panels.
Yes.
We've got the expo tables, there's 28 of them. We've got the soapbox speakers. We're having speed collaboration workshops, which are going to be awesome fun. It's drawing names out of a hat, and you go in and collaborate. We've got a quiet area for people to plug in their laptop or their phones, or do some work in a quiet area. We've got another cafe area that people can go and network. If they're networking and chatting, they can go, let's go in here and have a coffee and really chat, so they can have a little meeting and things like that. So it's fantastic. It's going to be a full day, and that at the end, of course, the after party, which is always fun.
Which is always fun, and probably one of the most important parts, because you get, like you said, you get lots of networking and lots of connection.
Yes, and it is on the 1st of March next year, just so you know. But the idea of that is I want to show people how they can do the exact same event in their own town, city or region. So in order to do that, I need to hold some events to show people how they do it. So I'm having it at different venues, and they're a similar format, but people can go without the expo tables, or they can go without the soapbox talk. They can do it any way they like, but we have the event in a kit, sort of event in a box kit, if you like. And so they can get that and just follow everything and go, bang, I know how to do it. I can see the budget, how much I need to raise or either get a grant or sponsors, and how much it's going to cost to get all these shows videoed. So it's all in their budgeting forecasts. Everything's there.
Which is wonderful, and I certainly look forward to that, because as I told you, we hold lots of our own panel discussions. They are online, but then we also will be doing expos and stuff in person next year. So definitely want to talk to you more. Just want to thank you ever so much for coming on. Before we finish, and we do have some people watching us, a few people watching us, so I'm talking here to the beautiful Julie, all about overcoming adversity. Truly, Julie, you've had an amazing life to overcome all those medical issues and everything else, to being a strong, confident woman now, to going beyond all your excuses. I love it. Stronger than your excuses, stronger than my excuses. Love that. But before we go, Julie, and we will be putting all your links in the comments for anyone who wants to contact you. But before we go, let me ask you, out of all your life, that you've experienced, what would you say is your superpower statement now?
So I actually think this probably changes over time.
Yes.
But right now, because I was asked this recently, and I know that my superpower is that I ask. It's as simple as that. But to put a bit of context around it, I'm confident enough now to ask, so I'm not afraid to go to the mayor or to go to the people I'm asking to sponsor my next event are Google, Microsoft, IBM, and so on. So at the moment, I've asked for panelists. I've got panelists from Telstra, IBM, Canva, Black Dog Institute. They're all coming on. Black Dog Institute are also sponsoring the event. So I'm not afraid to ask. And when I think about what I tell any of my clients, so people that either buy my kit or even people that I'm presenting for, when they say, what it is that holds my clients back from achieving what they want to achieve, it is that they don't ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. And you have to be ready for the rejection. You have to be ready for the ignoring. People sometimes just, Google just don't respond. Some people just won't respond. They're big organizations. Others that are big do respond, but they respond with a generic, oh, we have so many. But if some of them come back and go, yes, like IBM, like Black Dog Institute. And so you've just got to keep asking. That is my superpower. I don't stop.
You don't stop, which I love it. I really love it. You don't you don't have any excuses. You don't make any excuses.
No
You don't
excuses.
listen to it. You don't stop and look where you are now.
And I hope that's the one thing that people take away from
Right.
this. If you want to be confident, just keep asking.
Asking. It's the only way you can, and as you said,
Yeah.
you don't know if you don't ask.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, absolutely.
Yep.
So just thank you. Truly, truly
No,
thank you
thank
ever
you.
so much for joining. I'd certainly want to keep on talking to you at another time. I do
Yep.
want you to come back, have wonderful fun and success with your expo. But let's come back, even if it's next year, because I
Yep.
love your whole vibration and your confidence.
Thank you.
You radiate confidence. So thank you.
It's funny that you say that. I still don't even I feel confident, but I don't realize that I'm radiating confidence. But yeah, I'm definitely a long way from where I was reading that article all those years ago. So thank you. Thanks for
Thank
letting
you.
me share.
Thank you ever so much. And for everyone out there who is watching, whether you're on a live or a replay, first of all, thank you for joining us. I'm here talking to the beautiful Julie. Do click out on the link and find out all the links below and find out how you can be stronger than your excuses. And if you're interested in running any panel discussions, any expos or anything, Julie's your person to go to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.